Hey there everyone, welcome back to another Cooking with Michael episode, and happy Thanksgiving! You can see I'm here with my mom. We're gonna make a family favorite for you for Thanksgiving. It's a special one for you. Mom, what are we making?
Sweet potato casserole.
Sounds delicious. Let's get started. Okay, Mom, what's the first step?
First thing we need to do is get a casserole. We're gonna use this one and grease it.
Okay.
Let's use butter.
All right. So Mom, you're not using the brush. Is there a specific reason you're using the parchment paper method instead?
I'm just used to doing this. I want a nice, a good layer of butter on the side of the casserole so the sweet potatoes don't stick, but you could also use a brush and some melted butter.
All right. Okay, the pan is all buttered. What's next?
Topping. Now the topping for our casserole is a delicious pecan streusel topping. It has only 4 ingredients, butter, brown sugar, pecans, and cinnamon.
All of those sound delicious to me. First step, 1 stick melted butter.
We're gonna need 1½ cups of pecans. Now you could also use walnuts. And you know, we have a friend who has nut allergies.
Yes.
And one year she's joined us for Thanksgiving and I actually used graham crackers instead of the nuts. So when I use pecans, I like to just look through first before chopping them up, just to be sure there are no shells.
I've never done that before. I'm glad I'm learning something
That's a good
today.
idea. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just use this one machine to mix up all our topping ingredients. Now if you don't have a food processor and you want to chop your nuts up by hand, you can just mix the rest of the ingredients together with your chopped nuts in a bowl. So you don't need to use a food processor for this recipe.
So you can see it's chopped up, but not too fine. So they're cut into maybe quarters and eighths, but not too fine because they are going on top. Thank you, Mom.
We're gonna use the brown sugar, the cinnamon, and finally the melted butter.
All right, and cinnamon, 1½
And dip the cup right into the package of brown sugar and pack it in with my fingers.
Makes sense. 1 stick melted butter.
And now we'll just pulse it a few more times to get it all chopped up.
Okay.
So you can see we have a terrific, crumbly, delicious texture to our topping.
I distinctly remember having them with graham crackers before when our friend came over. I remember that. They're good. That's good too. Yeah. All right, so Mom, next step, sweet potatoes. How do we incorporate those?
Okay, the casserole itself is very easy. Just combine all the ingredients together.
Okay.
The first thing you need is 4 pounds of cooked sweet potatoes or yams. Now, for today, I've pre-cooked the sweet potatoes, and the way I do it is wash the sweet potatoes or yams, poke them with a fork, and cook them at 375 degrees until they're nice and soft.
A little bit of YouTube movie magic happening. Potatoes already done. Mom, you've cooked them in advance. Tell us about it.
Yes, I cooked them at 375 degrees for about an hour.
Okay.
And I made sure they were nice and soft. Now we're gonna peel them. Cut the ends off. And what I love about these sweet potatoes is they're so easy to peel. When you cook them long enough, the peel just slips right off.
Never worked with them before. That looks pretty simple.
Now you wanna cut out any of these little eye type of things on the sweet potato, but if you've got any brown parts where it was touching the cookie sheet, you don't need to worry about those.
Now while Mom is finishing the peeling right there, I'm gonna move this KitchenAid mixture into the shot a little bit, and we're gonna start putting these sweet potatoes into this bowl here and get ready to mix them up.
I think it's better to have them stay in the mixing bowl than on the ceiling, so that's why I cut them into a few chunks.
Now how many sweet potatoes are we using?
We're using 5 sweet potatoes. That's actually a little bit more than the 4 pounds. I weighed them in advance. But for this kind of recipe, it doesn't really matter. If it seems too thick, I'll just add a little extra orange juice.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to wash my hands now. Okay, now we just add the rest of our ingredients, beat it up, and pour it into our casserole dish.
That's it?
That's it.
Easy.
Okay, first let's put in 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar and 2/3 of a cup of orange juice.
Okay, I will get the orange juice here.
That it?
Okay.
Would please?
1/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar.
2/3 of a cup of orange juice.
Okay.
Okay, next we want to put in 1 tablespoon of orange rind. Okay, so here we go. We have our orange. Just gonna grate it. Okay, that should be our 1 tablespoon. Let's see. I love this box grater. It collects all the gratings in the bottom, makes it very convenient. I think we have 1 tablespoon.
1 tablespoon grated orange. Using Mom's method of the custard cup there.
Okay, so now for our spices. Would you bring those over?
Yes.
Thank you.
We've got nutmeg, cloves, ginger, more cinnamon if we need it, and triple sec, which we usually don't use, but for this recipe, definitely going to be helpful.
It's optional, but it adds a really nice orange flavor to use some type of liqueur or brandy. So now we're going to use 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. And
cinnamon you're holding.
So now we're going to have...
including that.
Now we're going to use 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of ground ginger.
Sounds good. 2 teaspoons cinnamon.
Now we're going to do a dash of nutmeg and a dash of cloves. And then at the end, we'll taste it, and if we need to add more, we can do that.
Sounds good.
Okay, finally, we're going to put in our 5 tablespoons of triple sec.
Okay. Okay, ready to mix it up?
We are.
All right, let's start at low speed.
Okay, that looks great. Let's get a spatula.
Okay.
We don't have to do too much scraping, but then what I'd like to do is beat it up just a little bit more till it's light and fluffy.
Sounds good.
Now we are tasting this just to check the seasoning, to make sure it's sweet enough, that it has enough orange flavor. But there is a raw egg in here, so you want to use your own judgment as to whether you're going to taste it.
Good point. Tastes really good. Maybe a little bit more orange? A little bit more orange, Ryan?
Perhaps a little more sugar.
Good idea. Okay, we're going for another taste test just to see if the brown sugar and orange rind made that difference we're looking for.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. That's it. That's it right there. So a little extra brown sugar, a little extra orange rind makes it perfect. Now we did forget to preheat the oven, so let's do that now. What temperature?
350.
Okay.
Okay, now we'll just put it into the casserole.
Okay.
Would you hold the bowl up?
Happily. Thanks for being a part of Cooking with Michael.
Oh, thanks for having me as your guest.
Cooking with Michael and Mom here.
Okay, now let's spread it, level the top.
Now I want to make sure we can try this for you on camera, but I don't want to spoil the look of our nice casserole in its bowl right here. So we're going to fill 1 custard cup with a little bit of that sweet potato casserole so we can try it with you.
Okay, now if you bring the topping over.
Yeah, my favorite part. So we're just spreading the topping all over the top of that casserole as evenly as possible.
Perfect timing. Our oven is preheated.
All right. It looks fantastic. How long do we bake them for?
35 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
Be sure to look at it at about 35 minutes to be sure that the top's not getting too brown.
Okay. Into the oven they go. And here it is. It looks great. The sweet potato casserole is done. It smells delicious in here. I can't describe it to you. But this is for Thanksgiving. Let's grab the sample custard cup and give it a try. Okay, we've let it cool for about 10 minutes, and now let's give it a try. Bon appetit. It's really good. It's perfectly sweet. The topping goes perfectly with it. I think the amount of topping we had was great. It's nice and thick. You get a lot of sugar in there, but it still has that sweet potato taste. I love it.
So what I'm going to do is set this aside, put some aluminum foil over it, and then when we're ready to eat, I'll reheat it and bring it to the table.
It's going to be great. Thank you so much for being a part of today's Cooking with Michael and Mom episode. It was a lot of fun to share it with you. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time.
Have a magical day.
See you real soon.
Happy Thanksgiving.